Okay.
Hey,
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Part
You know,
2.
part 2.
Yeah.
Yay.
We're now, we don't have the nice view behind us. We have just trees and everything, but
Yeah.
well, you can see us a little better.
Yeah.
So, and so let me show a little bit of what's going on here. We have. I don't want to move too much. Somebody told me that Doug Williams lives in that house over there. Famous football quarterback for the Redskins.
Oh, wow.
There's the Appomattox Bridge over here.
Oh, okay.
I hope
I see some ducks swimming over
you
there.
see a duck.
Yeah, it's like one was over there a few minutes ago.
The great thing about being a duck is that we don't have a zoom on here, so so I think everything is further away.
Right. Okay.
So anyway,
Yeah.
don't touch that. See, one false move goes right into the drink.
Yeah.
Oh, and you've seen this tie before, haven't you?
Yes.
No, it's the jacket, of course. Um, I just love this jacket.
Yeah.
We were in a play.
Yes.
Tell us about the play.
The play was called The Other Side of Oz.
Yes.
I played a munchkin.
I played a few parts. No, I actually played 2 parts. And I played a Munchkin insurance adjuster,
Yeah.
which is comic, sort of funny.
Yeah.
He was actually doing the claims for Dorothy's house, and I wore this jacket thinking it'd be Munchkin-like. You
Oh.
know, I wore a rainbow wig and funny
Yeah.
glasses and everything, funny shoes. But the thing was I thought this jacket, the director thought otherwise, but I thought
Right.
this jacket would be great early in the play because I also played the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
And if you
Right.
know anything about, they don't really make it clear in the movie, but in other versions of the Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
he is he's a hot air balloonist, and
Yeah.
that's how he gets stuck in Oz from Kansas.
Right.
That's why you hear a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Kansas man myself. He says that to
Yeah.
Dorothy.
And then he lands in Oz, and all
Yeah.
the munchkins gather around saying, "Who are you?
Yeah.
You know, are you a good witch or a bad
Yeah.
witch?
Yeah.
You know?
But
Yeah.
I thought because he ran a hot air balloon, this would be the perfect jacket for a hot air balloonist to wear.
Right. Yeah.
But I wore it instead as a munchkin because the
Yeah.
director told me
Oh, okay.
to.
Yeah.
And and you're sort of in your costume too.
Yeah, I'm in
So
my dress,
yeah.
so
Also have a kind of a neat tie. The
right.
tie is more shown. It's actually
Yeah.
a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon tie.
I love it. I love Pink
And
Floyd, so
and you do?
yeah. I
Yeah.
got 2 of their records. Actually,
The
3
wall.
of their records. Yeah, I got that. I got Dark Side of the Moon, and there was another one that came out like probably around later, like in the early '80s, maybe.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and anyway, the Pink Floyd. The story goes, the Dark Side of the Moon, the one with this on it,
I
the
think that's the
prism
most.
and the rainbow.
Yeah.
That is, they claim if you play it at least the first half hour of the Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
it matches up almost entirely to the Wizard of Oz,
Right.
the movie.
I think that's the most famous album,
Yeah.
out of all the
Yeah.
other Pink Floyd albums.
That's the one that has money on it.
Yeah,
Money.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so just as a homage to rock and roll, I wear the tie as the wizard with the Dark Side of the Moon on it.
Right.
And I wear this jacket
Yeah.
and a top hat. I was going to bring the top hat, but it kept blowing away.
Right.
It's a windy day. You probably hear the wind
Yeah.
through the thing. So
Right.
so anyway, so we were in that show
Yeah.
and we played to a bunch of appreciative seniors.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
It was a lot of fun though.
it's always fun to be in the
Yeah.
theater.
I love being on stage.
I am in a lot of work, right? Doing a lot of theater work right now, live performance, only because there was a 2-year drought where,
Yeah.
other than doing this show,
Right.
which actually came out of the pandemic, this show and almost all the other shows I've been doing were hatched originally from the Gorgeous George show I used to do on television,
Hmm.
and now I'm doing it on the internet with at least two other people and
Right.
Mary,
Yeah.
and thus getting a whole new. See, that's part of life when life gives you lemons like a pandemic,
Yeah.
pandemons,
Yeah.
then you make pandemic aid,
Oh yeah, exactly.
make pandemade. I just made that up.
Yeah, yeah.
My mind's always
It was a
always
joke.
thinking. My
Yeah.
mind's always thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
So so uh, so and maybe the next thing I could be on is I don't know, the Gong Show or
Oh
something.
yeah. Yes.
Remember that? You don't. That was before your time, the
Oh
Gong Show.
yeah. It came out like around the 70s.
Yeah,
I think it came out a few years before I was born. Or
yeah.
maybe years before that, I guess.
The Gong Show was based on a I guess a lot of these amateur hour shows like
Yeah.
Ted Mack. I think originally it was the Major Bose Hour,
Yeah.
and then there was the Ted Ted Mack Show,
Yeah.
which was the same thing.
Right.
And those were serious competitions. And then Chuck Barris, the game show guy,
Mhm.
he thought that he'd make a comedy version of that and only
Yeah.
give like 500 and some dollars to the
Yeah.
winner.
Yeah. Oh, you know who else was in it? Was
Mm.
kind of like the host, sort
Yeah,
of. That guy who played the original wizard from the Wizard of Oz, I think.
Frank uh, Frank Morgan.
Yeah, that's. I think
No,
that's.
he was long dead by then.
It looks like. Well, the guy looked like somebody who played on the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do know that
I don't know. I guess
Margaret
I'm
Hamilton, who
mistaken.
played the witch, was on the Maxwell House commercials when I was a kid
Oh, yeah, okay.
as
Yeah.
Cora, the coffee lady.
Yeah, she also got on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
She appeared on there once. Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad once met her.
Oh, you did?
And in fact, we were just talking about it last night because I was talking about.
All
I'm always talking about the
right.
Wizard of Oz for some reason because
Oh.
I'm always in
Okay.
performances.
Yeah.
Who needs what's his name James Franco? I should be the wizard,
Oh, yeah.
the young wizard. Not that
Mm.
young. I'm actually probably older than the original wizard in the movie.
Yeah. Right.
And Frank Morgan,
Yeah.
and then who was actually based on W.C. Fields.
Oh, okay.
W.C. Fields, they wanted him more than anything,
Right.
and I think he was with Paramount Pictures, and who made it? 20th Century Fox made it,
Right.
and
Right.
they couldn't get, or no, MGM had made it, and they couldn't
Yeah.
get. Well, this is how it works. He was with Paramount Pictures, W.C. Fields, under
Right.
contract, and they couldn't
Right.
get him for the MGM
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz as the wizard. Similarly, they couldn't get Shirley Temple, who was with 20th Century Fox, to play Dorothy, so they got Judy Garland,
Yeah.
who was a poor replacement at the time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now it was. I can't think of anyone else who should have played that part.
Yeah. I thought Dorothy was. I mean, I thought Judy
Judy
Garland.
Garland, yeah,
Yeah.
then afterward, because of the success of the Wizard of Oz, they made 20th Century Fox, I think, made their own version of the Wizard of Oz, sort of like called the Bluebird,
Yeah.
and it turned out terrible. It pretty much ended Shirley Temple's young career.
Right. Right.
She was like 10 years old or so at that time
Yeah.
when she
Yeah.
made it, maybe 12, and then she went on to make a few more films as an adult, but not that many. Yeah,
Yeah.
and but that the Bluebird pretty much ended her career, which is like the Wizard of Oz. It's in color and it's worth a look, you know. And they actually remade that years later with Jane Fonda and
Yeah.
Cicely Tyson and a few other actors.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Taylor was in it. Yeah,
Yeah. I think it was
a big budget remake in the 1970s. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
They also had The Wiz, which
The
is
Wiz, yes, which was on Broadway and then it
it
became a
had
movie.
Michael Jackson,
Yeah,
Diana Ross, Lena Horne,
yeah.
and some other famous
Richard
actors.
Pryor played Richard Pryor played the Wiz.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
And I
right.
remember it being somewhat disappointing, other than
Yeah.
Nipsey Russell played the Tin Man.
Oh, yeah.
Ted something played, not
Yeah.
Ted Lang, maybe it was Ted Lang, played the lion. He is really neat in the Wiz. The lion
Oh, okay.
is one of those cement lions in front of the
Oh,
museum
okay.
library, New
Yeah.
York Public Library,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, that's It has its moments, and to date, it's the only movie
Yeah.
starring Michael Jackson.
I mean, I did like the music from it though.
The music is good. Actually, it's probably a better stage show than a
Yeah.
movie.
He's on down the road.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's the song I remember from.
Yeah.
But one of the things was, I think Diana Ross was like 35 years old or something,
Oh, okay.
and her agent strong-armed the part uh, to get her to play Dorothy,
Uh-huh.
and she was so miscast.
I know.
Should have been a little girl.
I know. I mean, you know.
They thought that when I think how old was she? I think she was like 17 when she played Dorothy, Judy Garland,
Yeah.
and they thought she was too old.
Yeah.
So you think she's old? Get a load of 50 years later.
Yeah.
Diana Ross playing Dorothy.
Yeah.
She's old to play Dorothy's grandmother.
Yeah. Because The Wiz was made in 1978.
Yeah.
So 2
The
years
the
before I was
movie or the
born.
musical?
The movie.
The movie. Yeah.
I don't know what year the musical came though.
Sidney
It
Lumet.
may be the same year. I don't know.
Sidney Lu. No, I think it was a show. I didn't. All I knew from the Wiz before it was a movie was the soundtrack, was the album of I had no way of. I couldn't just go to a
Yeah.
Broadway show in those days or see. Even when they came to town, someone had to
Right.
take me because
Yeah.
I was a minor.
Oh yeah.
So I would get the LP of like the Wiz or Fiddler on the Roof
Yeah.
or West
Yeah.
Side Story, and
Yeah.
then just play the My Fair Lady, Camelot,
Yeah.
play the heck out of it. So I knew almost everything backwards and forwards. It's weird is that now that all these musicals, now that I'm in all these musicals, I don't. Those are the musicals we don't do.
I know.
Chicago, I think I was in. That was
Yeah.
about it.
I wasn't in that one, but I actually auditioned for it once 2 years ago before the pandemic hit.
For what?
So, for the Virginia rep,
Oh yeah,
but I didn't get cast. So,
that's the way it goes.
but at least I tried. You know.
Those
Yeah.
people don't know what they're missing.
Yeah. It's their loss because I think I'm the most talented person ever.
Yes,
Jeez, people.
yes.
People need to pay attention to my talent too. You know, I'm not just an outcast.
Yes. Not even Outcast is Outcast.
Yeah, no.
Andre 3000.
Right, yes. Yeah.
No, you're very talented. Very talented.
Yeah.
But you know what was weird about trying out for musicals or trying out for anything really? I'm at the age now where I don't really have that much competition.
Yeah.
Whenever they need a guy my age,
Yeah.
there's not really a whole lot of actors my age getting
Yeah.
those parts.
I mean, I have nothing wrong with the competition, like, but I've been on stage for many, many, many years. So, people should know that by now.
People should.
Yeah.
Damn right.
It's in my blood.
Let me tell you something. I like for example, I give funny examples about auditions. I remember auditioning for a show, an outdoor musical. It was a big musical.
Oh yeah.
It was Hairspray,
Oh.
and I didn't get in. But
Yeah.
what was weird was this is the weird part.
Yeah.
They said, "Will you take any part?" I said, "I'll take any part."
Yeah.
And so they
I
said,
mean,
"Will you
I
take the
would've done
chorus
too.
line?" And I said, "I'll take the chorus line."
Yeah.
Now this is weird.
I usually say that too. I
Now,
take any part I want.
this is the weird part.
Yeah.
I was they had a choreographer to give us a few dance numbers, dance steps. It says we want all like 20 of you in the line and all do the thing. And believe it or not, I wasn't the best one. I wasn't even probably I certainly didn't get cast, so I wasn't the greatest one or one of the top half of them or anything. But I did realize something was that at the time I was 50 years old and and the and pretty much the average age of the people in that line was 25. And not to say I was as good as they were, but I held my own, probably against, maybe not against other 25-year-olds, but I was certainly better than all the other 50-year-olds that weren't there.
Yeah.
So then I realized that if I play parts that are suited to me,
Yeah.
and audition for them, I won't have that much competition.
I know. Yeah.
I can't
Exactly.
play, the joke I always make about auditioning for musicals goes I'm getting so old I could no longer uh, play a teen in the next version of Grease
Oh wow.
because teens
Yeah.
the actors in Grease that play teens are usually about 35 40 years old.
Yeah.
So so now and I think somebody made a joke about why does Arnold Schwarzenegger make more money than Meryl Streep? Well, Meryl Streep, her movies don't make as much money as Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies did at the time. And
Yeah.
they said at the same time, you don't really see Arnold Schwarzenegger and Meryl Streep trying out for the same parts either.
Yeah.
As good an actor as Arnold Schwarzenegger is, he can't play a 50-year-old woman.
Right.
At the
Yeah.
same time, I think Meryl Streep could play a 60-year-old man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It all works out.
I played one man part before
You played a man?
in the Crucible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played a guy named Fever,
Hmm.
and he was a man, so I played a man part.
Yeah. Did you
You know,
deepen your voice?
I tried to, but it doesn't
Oh,
really. I mean,
hello.
I don't really mind playing a man part, but I'm
Make
kind
me
of
some
used to.
dinner.
I think I'm kind of used to playing like more girly parts, women
Yeah.
parts, than men parts. But I mean, if I had to play a man, I'll play a man.
We
So
see a really good like Shakespearean actor in the day.
yeah,
Shakespearean actors until the time of Cromwell. Cromwell actually changed all this.
yeah,
Were all played by men.
yeah.
Even Juliet or Lady Macbeth, all played by men
Wow.
in drag, and they had to be very convincing as women. Um, and I found out that I've been in so many skits where I dress
Hi.
up as a woman,
Yeah.
and the whole point is not to make it look realistic, but to make it funny.
Yeah.
And part of the rules is when you're doing drag is you don't when you're a man
Yeah.
you don't try to look like a pretty woman. You try to look like an ugly man dressed in women's clothes.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes it fun. That's why Milton Berle is funny. That's why Monty Python is funny. That's why Benny Hill is funny. That's why Flip Wilson is funny.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't, and anyone on Saturday Night Live who dresses as a woman, they
Yeah.
look like an ugly man with lipstick and mascara and everything,
Right.
looking like a woman. And that, in fact, you are laughing almost as soon as they walk on stage. You're
Yeah.
already laughing.
Right. Yeah. Because we do some friends of ours that went to New York with us,
Hmm.
and they went to a drag queen show,
Yes.
and the way they sing, they just lip sync.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't actually sing their real voices.
Well, those actually, no, those are drag artists or something, and those guys really do look like the original women. Like when they do Dolly Parton or do Liza Minnelli or
Yeah.
do Elizabeth Taylor or any of Barbara Streisand,
Yeah.
they their whole point is to look exactly like them to the point where you almost they're indistinguishable.
Right. Yeah.
But if I were to do that, I would look like I'd probably use my real face and have like exaggerated lipstick and a funny wig,
Yeah.
and then maybe talk with a deep voice or something,
Yeah.
and then everyone would laugh. I once went to a, I once went to, I do everything for a laugh. I once went
Yeah.
to a lobster place. I hate going to lobster
Yeah.
restaurants, and because I don't like paying for lobster. But anyway, uh, the the person that I was with, as she ordered lobster. Oh gosh. And so, and so it's the first date. So what happened? It was a first and last date. And so she said, "Would you like to wear a bib?" And she got so insulted. She goes, "A bib? I'm not a baby. I'm not going to wear a lobster bib."
Oh wow, really?
And I said, "Listen, people who eat lobster wear a bib just to keep the food off their clothes." Goes, "I don't care. I'm not a baby. I'm not going to wear a lobster bib."
Right. Right.
She didn't know as much about eating lobster as you think. So then I said, "Listen, if I were eating lobster, I think I was eating like a cheese sandwich or something. I didn't
Yeah.
want to pay for lobster." I said,
Yeah.
I said, "Listen, if I ordered lobster and they offered me a bib, I'd eat the bib. I'd eat the bib. I'd
Yeah.
wear the bib." And she said, "I know you, Kevin, and you will do anything to get people to laugh at you."
Oh wow.
And that's when I threw it all up and it says, "Enjoy your lobster. Good night."
Good night. Whatever. So long,
Good
sucker.
night. Good night. Yes. Now the Gong Show.
Yes. Gong
The,
Show.
I used to. The Gong Show, I think, was originally conceived as not that it went far as a series show, but I think they did a pilot with John Barber on it, and they thought it was going to be a serious show, and people actually appeared on that show thinking they were going to win, money and get sort of like American Idol.
Yeah.
And then the guy was so fed up with the host of it. He only did like one episode, a pilot episode, that
Yeah.
he says, "I got to find someone better than that." And they found out. He said, and he kept trying to show potential guys, performers, to be the host of it,
Yeah.
how to do it. And then someone actually said, "Why don't you do it?" And Chuck Barris, the producer of the show, did it.
Yeah.
So what happened was he became the host, and it made it just a comedy show,
Wow.
and they had the worst acts, and people were gonged on it and everything, and it was a very funny show. There's a few episodes of, I think, the Carol Burnett Show and Sanford and Son,
Yeah.
and there's another, I think, What's Happening, where they appear on where the characters appear on the Gong Show, and what's sort of funny about all three of those episodes, Eunice, I think, appeared on the Gong Show,
Yeah.
was they all thought that they would become big stars as a result of appearing on it, and the truth is nobody ever became a big star appearing on the Gong Show.
Yeah.
There's who else? The what is the Yeah, it was all a lark, and I remember once they had an episode, or a whole week, or a whole episode, a special night primetime episode, where they got
Right.
all the people that had been gonged, and had them compete against each other, and the winner
Yeah.
would, finally get a second chance. As it turned out, everyone was gonged a second time,
Right.
and there was no
Yeah.
winner. Nobody got the $500
Yeah.
that week. And what are you doing?
Just trying.
You can't really see what's going on, but
Yeah.
our audience can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of reaching here because we're actually above water here, and I'm afraid the thing's going to fall
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
drink
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the Gong Show, and if you watch the old clips of it, a lot of people appeared on there, like
Yeah.
Danny Elfman and Oingo Boingo appeared on
Oh
there
yeah.
once.
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman once appeared on there. I mean,
Oh yeah. I've
as a
heard about
guest.
that.
And he
Yeah.
wasn't Pee Wee Herman. He was doing something else. He was with a group called the Groundlings, and they did
Oh.
some sort of thing. You know, there was some. There was. I remember, and then there was a movie about the Gong Show. There was a Gong Show movie, which was like just like an adult,
Yeah.
uncensored version of the Gong Show, and directed by Robert Downey Sr.,
Oh wow.
the
Yeah.
father of Iron Man,
Yeah.
and it turned out to be a lousy movie.
Yeah.
I've seen bits of it, but then there's a movie called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind,
Oh yeah.
where Chuck Barris claimed to be an assassin for the CIA while
Mm.
he was producing all these game shows, like the Newlywed Game and the Dating Game and the
Wow.
Gong Show.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much the Gong Show, but while he was doing those shows in the '60s, he was the first to figure out that uh, game shows didn't have to be, right or wrong answers.
Yeah.
You could have fun with these shows. Um, you could have fun with these shows by getting reactions from people, ask them open-ended
Mm.
questions, like the Newlywed Game, which is kind of a trashy show. Do you remember the Newlywed Game?
Oh yes.
I remember a friend of mine told me that his he knew these people in California. He was from California. He knew these people in California that appeared on the Newlywed Game,
Uh,
and they divorced like a year later. And I
yeah.
said, "Do you think?" And they asked embarrassing questions of each other, and they'd always get mad at each other and have
Yeah.
arguments in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And I said, "Did you?" So I said to my friend, I said, "Do you think the Newlywed Game uh, caused their divorce?" And he just looked at me and says, "Well, it certainly didn't help."
Yeah.
Also, the Dating Game. What was the deal on that show?
I know.
That they had they would have this bimbo, and
Yeah.
then she'd have a date with pick three guys behind a curtain,
Yeah.
behind a wall or something, and ask them like these questions, and and they were so
Yeah.
embarrassed, and all the guys dressed like Barry Manilow
Yeah. Yeah.
with
Yeah.
medallions and
What
leisure suits.
what I've noticed in the Newlywed Game
Yeah,
is like when the intro comes on,
yeah.
you know, all the couples, they look at each other like, oh lordy, what's all this? You know, Can you tell like their face, their expressions, like when
Yeah.
they just kind of like look down, like oh, and then the other like oh, like when they announce like so and so has been married for so and so months
Yeah.
or so and so years or something like that,
Mhm.
they'll just be like oh Lord,
How'd I get this?
and they kind of like snicker and laugh, kind of like
So they actually, I remember they interviewed the host of the Gong Show, Chuck Barris, I mentioned, and
yeah,
they asked him, how come, well, in the case of the Gong Show, you only give like $534, or it was kind of being funny. The winner
yeah,
got that much, which those days people were making maybe winning 10,000 on a game show. They make more now, but at the time, 10,000 was a lot of
yeah,
money to
yeah,
win. So people would make 534.
yeah.
And then so then there was a show even before then, like I mentioned, the dating game
Oh,
and
okay,
the
yeah,
and the
yeah,
Newlywed Game,
yeah,
and on the Newlywed Game, they wouldn't give they didn't say what the prize was until the end, and it was always
yeah,
something piece of junk. It was
yeah,
never a car or a house or something. It was always like a washer dryer or or a set of matching bicycles or something. I mean, something that
yeah,
you wouldn't think of as a good gift.
yeah,
And they said, "How come you don't give like a car or something?" And he said, because we tried giving cars in the early days, and people would kill each other. They would say anything to humiliate their girlfriend or their spouse
yeah,
just to get that car.
yeah,
And you know, it stopped being a fun show and started just being this vitriolic, hateful show. So
yeah,
I said I better just make the prizes not that great so the people don't lose any
yeah,
high stakes over it. There was
yeah,
a and also there was a I mentioned the dating game. Two strangers go on a trip to Puerto Vallarta, or
yeah,
always the weird like resort areas. Tijuana, not Tijuana, Acapulco,
yeah,
or places like that. Tijuana's. I've been. Tijuana's not
mhm,
a fancy place.
yeah,
All these, you know, the Portofino
mhm,
or Monaco. They always
yeah,
went to like these excursions at resorts at
yeah,
beach areas.
yeah,
What they what you never knew, or they didn't make a big fuss about, was those people they weren't there by themselves. They had a chaperone,
yeah,
and that was pretty much to keep
hmm,
them apart. And there was never in the whole history of the dating game no romance ever flowered
wow,
from that show. Now shows like The Bachelor and even Survivor
yeah,
and Love Connection stuff,
yeah,
there has been marriages and even births from those shows, but
yeah,
the dating game, none of that. It was still
oh,
kind of a prurient time in the 1960s when that show came out. Uh, they always like come back with these shows, the Newlywed Game, the
yeah,
dating game, and stuff, and they always try to make it a little more fancier with cell phones and
oh yeah,
maybe have. And for some reason, it's not. I kind of liked it when it was more prudish because
yeah,
it was more. I don't know. More suspenseful, more almost it was almost more what's the word erotic almost because of the it was there's a forbidden fruit about
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it. Yes,
yeah.
but the Gong Show, for some reason, that was a show we used to watch all the time because for some reason no episode of the Gong Show was like the last episode. There's always, you know, you might have a folk singer, but for the most part, it was all these weird sort of like circus acts up
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
jugglers, all this type of thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, this is thanks for inviting me on your show today.
Absolutely, always. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
And it's good seeing everybody, and I hope you all enjoyed our show. And I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed day. May God bless you. Thank you for tuning in.
What's your name? Mary
Mary
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
My name is Kaye Lazar. Thanks for inviting me on here.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.
How do I do this?